Welcome to this task on querying databases. Having got a lot of information into the database, you'll now want to get it out and analyse it. And this is called querying. Getting information out of a database is what we really want to do. Putting data in is only of any use if we can analyse that data in some way. That means we need to have a programming language that allows us to get at the data from the database and into our program, or maybe a web application or a reporting system. The language we use is called structured query language, and more usually this is called either SQL or SQL, and in fact I'll be using both terms. In fact, SQL is the only language that can be used with databases. All other languages have to send an SQL command to the database and ask it politely to retrieve the data. Java, C++, C, Python, PHP and so on cannot get to the database directly. So even programmers in these languages have to know SQL if they want to use a database. Alternatively, they have to access somebody like you with a high level of knowledge in this area. But what is querying? The technical term for getting data out of a database is querying. We use the select command to do this. The select command, and by the way it's usual to use uppercase for SQL commands, has the most ways of being used of any of the 7 SQL commands. You must specify which fields you want, the tables from which they're coming, and if your query uses more than one table, then you must say which fields are used to link the tables, the primary and the foreign keys. Optionally, you can also place conditions on which records you want to see. For example, you may only want those records which were created in a particular week, or list those people who bought product X. These conditions can get quite complicated, so it requires practice as well as trial and error to get you used to the way things work here. The good news is that there's nothing you can type into a select command that will harm the data in your database. It only reads the data and cannot change it at all. But why go to all this trouble? Well, SQL gives you the ability to calculate basic statistics, totals, averages, and so on. You can then group these records together, say all those living in a particular town, and display the statistics for those groups. You can then look at the averages, counts, etc. for these groups and see how these change over time, or see how they're different to each other. This ability to analyse the data and turn it into information, because information is useful data, this is what makes databases so popular. You can make graphs in any spreadsheet, but breaking the data into groups and then analysing those groups to see what makes them tick is something databases do very well. However, there are few people who can do this level of analysis, and even fewer who want to. This makes people with a high level of SQL skills very popular, and that means that they earn a lot more than others. Those who are motivated by income and the ability to move around should consider a career in databases. There's much more on how to use the select in later tasks.